Hi, you beautiful people out there. Beautiful souls. Welcome back. It's Press Play again. As always, it's me, your girl Bailey. I had to say it because they were making fun of me right before we did this.
I thought maybe she wouldn't do it this time, but she did.
They honestly had spot on impressions. And speaking of
You're saying they. I had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, Omar
you
was
were
reading
nodding
us
along. You were 100% nodding along. You were like, yeah.
Omar was reading
Make
us
sure
the
she
label
knows.
off of his tea, his tranquility tea.
Yeah, he was giving us nice little messages to start with
I'm just trying to
positivity.
inspire.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
it made me feel really good. Like I feel so tranquil right now, like more than
I'm
ever.
so happy, man.
Yeah.
I
so
don't.
happy.
Get that
Oh,
shit out. No, I'm
hates it.
kidding. I loved it.
Jeez.
And speaking of, welcome everyone. It's us, and with me is Matthew Austin and Omar Zaki. Is it sad that I almost hesitated
Bucky
on Matt's
Barnes.
name? I was about to be like, wait, what the
That's
fuck is
weird.
his name?
Thought I would have left more of an impression
struggling.
by now.
Can I ask a question to
Shoot.
Matthew? I'm curious, man. And look, it's 2021. You know you can do whatever the fuck you want. The last 3 times I've seen you, you've had the same hoodie on. Like, is there something going on? Like, literally today, 2 days ago, I saw you. The day before, I saw you, and it's just always the same hoodie.
Yesterday, did we see each other yesterday?
No, 2 days ago when we went to Acme Oyster House.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
but
wondering.
Well,
like, is
okay,
there
Omar, I
something
want you
going on?
to take.
You're being
remember,
called out.
remember though, when we went to Acme Oyster House, which shout out, we would accept the sponsorship. I actually changed hoodies because I looked at this one and I was like, this is too white for that.
Because it was
He
white.
did, and I was
Yeah.
like, "You're
Yes.
definitely gonna."
Yeah, so I was like,
You
I
know
can't
what?
keep this one on.
I
And then
stand
if
corrected,
you
you're
remember
right.
again, Omar, I think the time we saw each other before that was when we were watching the
Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut. And
Yeah.
I will admit, I had this hoodie on that day too. But about 20 minutes into the movie, I took it off because I was a little.
You did take it off.
toasty.
I was wondering. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, it's fucking cold.
So
What the
if
hell?
you
The fact
combine
that-
all of the time from just all
I'm
these 3
so
experiences,
sorry,
I might
dude.
have been wearing this hoodie for like a solid 15 minutes over the last 4 days, and I don't think that's really a problem. So I turn the question on to you, Omar. That hat on your head. I feel like you wear it a lot.
hat. You know,
That's not
I
true.
honestly
It's not-
find
okay,
it
well.
really nice that y'all pay attention to each other enough to know when y'all are wearing similar clothing all the time. It's great.
Always.
I always
Honestly-
just assume y'all only own like 5 things.
Because
so.
this hoodie is
Woody.
because this hoodie is so white and I am so messy, it's rare that it's even clean and like presentable for me to have it on. So I just wear it when it's clean. If I'm like, you know what, there's no stains on this thing yet, I'll just wear it. It'll be fine.
You know
I
what?
accept that.
Y'all
I
are
accept this.
fun. And we're getting off of this. I'm sorry for all you listeners out there that just had to hear us talk about wardrobe for the last 5 minutes. But
They
we're
love
coming
it.
back and we're here. And you know what we're about to talk about? The first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And
Oh,
let me
baby.
tell you, I'm excited to talk about it. But before we get to that, I'm going to go and read through everything that I'm supposed to read through because they tell me every time, Bailey, you need to tell people like who we are and what we do. So if you want to follow us on social media, you can on Twitter at AgainPress and on Instagram at PressPlayAgain. We post things now, so you might as well go follow it. And if you want to listen to us instead of watching us, you can also do that too, I guess. And that would be on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Apple Podcasts. And if you leave us a review and 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, you're a good human being. That's all I can really say. We can't give you anything. And don't forget that we're going to be posting these special little episodes every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for your beautiful ears to listen to. And on Thursdays, we're doing movies because your bitch loves some movies.
Oh my god.
So,
that
so-
hit me hard.
So coming up, we got Snyder Cut Part 2 because it's too long of a movie to even do one part of. We're going to discuss more stuff with it. And by more, I mean, we definitely are discussing the nightmare scenes and we're definitely discussing what could have been, maybe will be, what's coming up, what might never happen, the script / not really a script, but just the
It's really like
telling
a
of what
article.
Snyder himself would have done. So I have looked into some of it, and I think Omar's going to be surprised by my response. But
Oof.
either way, that's going to be on Thursday, and come and just enjoy that too, because why the hell not, you
Why
know?
not?
I think that's it, though. Oh, make sure you, like, subscribe to us and like us on things, that'd be great too.
That'd be nice.
But other than that, I'd love to talk about this episode with you guys.
Me too. We're
So
ready. I've got this. We got the nice new fresh logo. You guys can't see it yet because you haven't seen the episode. But
Ooh, I'm
damn, we
excited
got a
to see
fresh
this
WandaVision,
logo?
dude.
WandaVision's out,
Oh.
dude. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Which might I say, of all the MCU TV show logos when they unveiled them, I was like, this one right here looks
Really?
We're
fucking
keeping it
Okay.
hot to
mint.
trot.
Looks
We're
nice.
staying up to date. So
That's right.
I'm gonna go ahead and just already ask you, starting with Matt Austin. What did you think of this first episode?
I'm in, baby. I'm
You're
in.
in, baby?
I'll say I had no doubts I would be in, so it's not a shock, but I'm in. Yeah, I love the vibe of this. Like I'm really glad that it's taking the more it's the follow up to Endgame, even more so than WandaVision or Far From Home felt. Like this feels like it's gonna take a kind of a look at the society that how people were after, and
This
you know
is
we're
a
always getting
society.
this is a society. Is that how the Joker said it? I don't know. They took that line out of the
No.
Snyder cut. But yeah, like the terrorist group or whatever, the flag smashers, like they wanted they liked the world better when everyone was snapped away, like stuff like that. I find is really cool that they're not just acting like the stuff that happened in Infinity War Endgame happened and is over. We're actually gonna probably get a nice cool look at the world and things that have happened and changed since then.
Right.
And yeah, I loved it. I think it's crazy too. Bailey pointed out after we watched this, it's like, man, the episode ended and Bucky and Falcon like not even together yet at all. I think that's cool. I
Yeah,
think
like
we're gonna get
haven't even seen each other yet.
a lot of like slow
And it's only
build up
6
to that.
episodes. So I was like, wow, that's a bold move.
It is.
Marvel.
It's a very bold move. And honestly, the action and everything, like that first whole 10 minutes, it's crazy that was not a movie. I mean, I was like, am I just seeing things, or is this like actually some of like the craziest like action I feel like we've seen in the MCU? And I feel like that whole just sequence of Falcon like saving that U.S. Army dude from the thing was cool. The paratroopers, all that stuff was fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm in. I can't wait to talk about the episode more with you guys. But top level thoughts. Thought this was fucking nice.
Which, speaking of, this episode's called New World Order, which I found interesting.
I thought they would keep up
It's
with the
absolutely
TV pun names from
Well, no,
WandaVision.
because this isn't the same thing. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
okay
good
with
point.
it that they didn't. So how'd you feel, little ohms?
There we go.
Yeah,
Had to
little
throw
ohms.
little ohms in
I
there.
have to throw it in there.
Okay. So I'm just gonna start with a couple things I didn't like. I'll
Mhm,
be honest with you, that first scene
mhm,
I did not
mhm.
like at all
Interesting.
because
Wait, what first
through
scene?
the entire MCU, like the opening scene, through
Like
the
when with him on the bed
MCU,
ironing his clothes?
brother,
That
the
one?
fucking fight scene, the
Jesus
the
Christ,
scene you
get out
just
of here.
said you so. Listen to me.
Do we need to hear this?
Through the MCU, Falcon literally gets beat up on. The entire MCU, right? He's a sidekick. Fucking when what's his name? When Rhodey gets shot in the sky. Even that when they could have had like a cool moment with Sam afterwards, he just like Iron Man just fucking So we're just used to seeing like Falcon not really be much of a fighter. He's more of a sidekick. He makes shit happen. He helps aid things. So to see him fight like that, so fluid in his movements and everything,
Fucking
like
awesome.
I just sure it did, but it's not the same like Sam we're used to. And I guess
But
I
I
understand.
think that's Marvel's fault
Right,
because they
right,
didn't
right. So
show
I'm
us
just
anything.
exactly, yeah. So I'm just listing like a couple things I didn't really vibe with. And honestly, at the end of Endgame too, like how Steve gives the shield. So I'm gonna refer to the characters as Falcon and Winter Soldier. Okay, just
Love
since
it.
that's the
Love
name
it.
of
I
the
think we
show.
Keeping
should.
it
Since he
simple
gives it,
for the audience.
yes, he gave it to Falcon. I didn't really vibe with that because I thought, yeah, if they're doing a show afterwards about Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think the Winter Soldier he's really responsible for the aftermath of a lot of things, right? There's a lot of ramifications when it comes to his character. There's a lot more heart. There's a lot more like there's a redemption story there, right? So
Mhm.
I think it would have been cool to see him take up the shield and we get a kick-ass redemption story. Whereas like Sam, he's a good guy. He always was. I guess maybe we'll get more of his story. And I did like as the episode went on towards the end, yeah, it ends on a note where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm not sold on it yet, but I'm interested to see where his story goes and his relationship with the shield and the character and everything.
Mhm.
I did like the route they took where he kind of like rejects the idea of like he's an ex Captain America.
Yeah.
I do like that route. So I'm sold on the show. I'm just not sold on a couple of takes
Okay.
in the show. But I
Okay.
think I'm very excited and I have really high expectations just because this was supposed to be the direct follow-up to Endgame.
Mhm.
This was supposed to be like the show they premiered with,
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
and I'll say this: MCU has never like failed to impress me. They've never failed with their executions. They've never failed with their choices of like when things come out or how they follow up to other things.
Thor 2.
So my expectations are just all time high. So yeah,
Sweet,
that's it.
sweet. All right. I am going to piggyback off of some of that stuff, but completely disagree with it.
Jesus Christ,
I
everyone.
love
Which,
it.
of course, no, I'm kidding. But I did really like it, and I do think they're doing cool things. The way I keep looking at this show is like in the beginning of WandaVision. I hated Vision. I didn't think he was a compelling character. I didn't think he would ever
Mhm.
be a compelling character. They completely changed my mind. Falcon, kind of a similar situation, but he's a little more likable because
Yeah,
he's a nice person and he's funny and has a good character. Like all of that makes me hopeful for this too because I think if this is what Marvel's plan is to just give all these one-off TV shows to all these characters that are going to be in the MCU now since we're missing like Cap and Iron Man and all these bigger characters, then you have to build them up and create their character for them and without giving them all just their own movie. And this is the perfect way to do that. So I think putting these two together and pairing Bucky and Falcon together is a great idea. And I think building their characters up through this show to make them more likable is hopefully what's going to end up happening at the end of it. Because although I love Bucky and I've been a huge Winter Soldier fan, I don't know much about Winter Soldier. So the honestly what they were doing with his character in the first episode, I adored. I was like, this is so cool. This is exactly what I was hoping we would see from that. Falcon, I thought the beginning was dope. After that, I kind of fell off of his character just a little bit, but not a lot, and not his fault. I think it's Marvel's fault. But I do get what you're kind of saying. I don't fully agree, but I get
mhm.
where you're coming from. So, I'm still hopeful for this too. First episode though, I think it was a great episode.
Yeah.
I think it did what it was supposed to do and then it left you on a cliffhanger and that's what a good episode always should do. So,
I
you
actually have
know.
a question for you guys. Because we know this is 6 episodes, and we saw how WandaVision was, I think, in my opinion, was a good mix of being its own thing as well as bridging the gap from the last phase to the next phase of the MCU.
Mhm.
So we know this is 6 episodes, okay? Just from the first episode, I know it's too early to tell, but do you guys think this will be similar in terms of being its own thing slash from from past phase to the next phase, or is it gonna just be its own thing? Or is it just gonna be the bridge? Do you
I
see what
don't
I'm
know
saying?
what I think yet. I get what you're trying to
Right? It's
say.
it's it's a little
But
too
I
early,
don't
I know.
know. I think we'll know more when we see more villains. As of right now,
Yeah,
I think this is just a one-off story about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I don't think it's gonna have huge tie-ins.
right.
Like I feel like the stuff you deal with in Doctor Strange and the stuff you dealt with in
Yeah, yeah,
WandaVision
yeah,
could more lead to bigger villains. But
exactly.
this
I agree.
doesn't. This feels like more of the military side of everything,
Yeah.
which is fine. But
Yeah, like
it's
the
just
stats. Yeah,
different, if that makes
right,
sense.
right, yeah.
This
Which I think
seems
it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, the scene. I mean, this to me seems like it fits in with the Winter Soldier,
Vibe.
Captain America. Like it
Yeah,
feels more
yeah,
like a
yeah.
sequel to like the Captain America movies, which obviously those had
Exactly.
ramifications and stuff too. But yeah, I'm with you guys where I think WandaVision feels like that's where the bulk of the MCU is headed now because that's going
Yeah.
straight into Doctor Strange, and it seems like movies like with this, I don't know what movie necessarily it'd lead into, but I think it's gonna show us kind of exactly who's gonna carry the Captain America mantle now. Because
Yeah.
I still think there's gonna be some weird stuff going on with Bucky and
Well, do you think we at least get a Luke Skywalker like character at the end?
Don't even. It's too soon for
Did
all of that shit.
I will
Let's
say
not
though,
do that
did we
again.
know that Rhodey was gonna be in this? Because that was kind of a surprise to me.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I
I
also
didn't know,
don't
but
care
I
that
mean,
much
it
about
was a
Rudy,
nice surprise.
but
Yeah.
that's
I
Yeah,
don't.
fine.
honestly.
I didn't get the vibe that he's going to be like a main character in it or anything. Like, I mean, for all we
No,
know,
I
that
think
could
he
have
was
been
just a
it.
cameo.
Yeah, but I just thought that was
Yeah,
cool
probably.
that like he just pops in and pops out.
It
Like,
was
I don't
cool
know who
because it
else will
makes
we
it.
see.
I don't know. It makes the
He's
universe
a popper.
He's a
a
popper,
popper.
bro.
It makes the
Oh my
universe
God.
feel more tight knit, like that they all still are involved with each other somehow. I don't know. Something like that. I just dig. You know what? Either way, let's dive into this because we got some shit to talk about. Speaking of, we should just talk about this first scene that everybody hates with him ironing stuff. Right? Like,
Why do
isn't
people
that
hate that?
shitty? No, I'm kidding. I'm more just
Oh,
mean like the big old fight scene. That big old bad boy.
damn.
Yeah.
Y'all hate when I do shit.
No, I
I
love.
always think I
I
always think
hate
I'm
it,
gonna
but I
make y'all
think the
laugh.
fans love it. Like
I
I think
do
the
too.
audience
I
I
loves
think.
that
always am
shit.
like, I say something and then I look and I'm like waiting for y'all to laugh, and Omar makes the exact same face every time.
Okay, I'll say this when I'm listening to the episodes, because like I said, you guys get me through work like every other fucking day. You know, when there's a
Oh,
new
we're
episode pops out,
so.
I listen to it. Your shit's funny when I'm listening to it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Live though, I'm like, okay.
You're like,
I'm
man,
taking that to
I
my grave.
really
I'm
should have
gonna have that
laughed at that.
exact quote on my
Yeah, I always
my
regret it, man. I
headstone.
always regret it.
Um. So yeah, this flight scene, flight
Flight.
scene. I don't know why I'm calling it
It's
that.
flight. I mean, he's
Either way,
flying.
I thought this whole scene was really, really, really dope. Like, I was excited about it because I thought, oh, for once we're gonna actually see Falcon in action, because he was a military guy. He was trained. We just never saw it because we always focused on Cap with everything, and he was Cap's right hand man. So you're completely right about that. But I feel like he's always had this training. We just have never been able to see it because he's always been a side character. So now we finally are getting to see it, and I thought it was really cool. I, however, was unbelievably shocked that he was straight up murdering so many people.
Yeah, you
Like,
saw that shit?
He
so
killed-
many people
He killed a
were
lot
I
of
like
a lot of people.
straight up murdered. There was at least 12 people that died by his hand within 5
Bro,
minutes.
I watched it with Jade, and she was like, "Well, at least he was saving the people who's thrown out the helicopter." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I was like, "Those people died, dude."
He
He
might have
straight up
saved.
threw him
helicopter
into
that-
like a mountain.
Did she say it right after I think the first person he threw, he kind of like deployed their parachute, but
Bro,
everything
no,
after that
the
was
entire
fucking done.
after the entire scene. She was like, "Well, at least he's saving them." I was like, what? "I was like, you
Yeah.
saved one guy."
So here's how I justify it, right? Because these guys are fucking terrorists, right? Am I wrong? Is that what this
Right.
is? It's like I guess we just don't fuck with these people. It's like, you know what? You're trying to steal our man
No, I mean, I'm not like
and take him over
You have to do
mad
what you
at
have
to
to
the
it.
do,
border.
man.
Like, no, you're
I'm
getting.
not mad at it. I'm just shocked. I'm shell shocked, as some people
wanted to
say,
point out-
because it's just that I don't think with Marvel we ever see people just straight up being murdered while they're doing all this fight scenes. You
Yeah.
feel like you see them get knocked out, or there's like a big puff of smoke because they all blew up, but you don't actually see it. This, I feel like we straight up were seeing people just like die.
Yeah. I noticed at the top that
Well, no,
this
wait.
is.
Captain America was shooting fucking guns and shit, bro. Like in his movies, right?
Yeah,
Like
but
in the
that was
first movie.
that was one of the wars, you know.
Yeah,
Wars
we were
are a
at war,
tough
Billy.
place.
We were at war. No, I will say I noticed this one's TV 14. I don't know if you noticed that, but
I did notice that.
WandaVision
Oh, I
was
didn't.
TV PG, I think. So this one can get a little bit darker, perhaps. And I think TV 14 kind of translating to movies is a little bit darker than PG 13 anyway. I think.
Yeah, it's like somewhere in
Um,
between.
Yeah.
Well,
So
this definitely seems like it's gonna have a lot more fighting, which I'm so down for. Because all the stuff, like if you compare it to Winter Soldier, there's so many cool fight scenes in
Yeah.
that movie. So if that's all we get from this, I'll be happy.
yeah, I mean
I
when he's
love how they had the same guy from the first scene of
Yeah.
Winter Soldier. Like
Yeah,
in
I forgot
fight,
that was
dude, I
him.
love that guy. He's so fun. Yeah,
yeah, he's
Wait,
cool.
what
that's
guy?
pretty cool.
The main dude,
The Russian or whatever the fuck.
the terrorist guy, the one that they were.
Oh,
chasing.
And I love how he escapes in this too. It's like, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna show up again, right? At some
Yeah.
point.
5 years and we'll see him
Who
again.
knows?
Five
Yeah.
years.
I really did. I think I said it before, but I loved how cool they looked with the those suits on when they were like parachuting.
Yeah.
Like all of that looked so real, and it was so cool when they'd be like just going through the sky. They're trying to shoot at Falcon, whatever, missing because obviously I don't care what Omar says. Falcon's fucking just kicking ass, and but the way they would just kind of float back into the helicopter, like they would line
Yeah,
up
that
with
was
it and then
cool.
just kind of tumble. I was like, this shit's cool.
Well,
I don't know if
this
that's how
whole-
it
that-
actually works, but really
That's
cool.
like one thing I was actually really impressed. Like, uh, opinions aside about Falcon, this whole scene just looked really cool. Like, it looked like they spent a shit ton of money on
Yeah.
it,
It was
and I was very blown away by that.
It was the one that was all throughout the trailers too. I love that. I love that like it wasn't showing us some big thing from the end. Like, oh, all the money for the
Right.
show went to like this big fucking Falcon flying at the end. It's like, no, 5 minutes in, you're getting this stuff. It's like
I
that's
mean,
how
dude,
you.
I loved the scene. I thought it was pretty cool. It was really fun to watch, and I thought it was a really good way to start the show.
No, yeah,
too,
you just-
because,
you
like,
just think
we know
he's
with these two,
you just think he's
yeah,
a
'cause,
B
dude, with
tier hero.
WandaVision,
You just want
yeah,
him
they're
not
very, like,
relegated to the back.
Well, the thing is with WandaVision,
Y'all
you
keep
expect,
talking at
you
I know,
the
I-
exact
story.
same time.
I didn't want to cut Omar off, so I kept stopping, and then he would. So bad.
It was real
I don't-
cute,
I don't know what
guys.
to-
Yeah, my bad.
With WandaVision, like you expected the characters to be slower. You expected there to be a story, but with
Mhm.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, like you're 100% you're expecting action,
Yeah.
right? So I thought it was a really good note to start with that scene. And then as the episode goes on, we start seeing, okay, like here's how they're handling everything post Endgame. And I love everything they do with the Winter Soldier, man. I love like the take
Oh
they're
man.
doing. I love
Mhm.
everything with his sessions in therapy. I
Yeah.
thought that was so fucking like I love that they're exploring that aspect of everything. And now he's facing the ramifications of everything he did when he was like, under um
The Hydra rule.
yeah, yeah,
Hypnosis.
hypnosis.
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure that brainwashing, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, brainwashed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Um,
I just loved everything.
I think you're right. I think the coolest thing this show has done so far is just make you feel like this is what our world would feel like after Endgame. Like
Mhm.
all the way people are talking, all these like terrorist organizations that have different opinions on the snap or the what do they call it?
The
I
blip.
always forget.
The
The
blip.
blip. I always say the snap. Um I think it's just such a interesting thing to see now
Jesus.
because with WandaVision, we understood all of that happened.
Excuse
They
me.
like never talked about it.
I just burped straight into the microphone.
And then he said Jesus. That's what fucking killed me. No, dude, honestly, it's that, yeah, and their attention to detail, man. Even when him and his sister, when Sam and his sister go to do like a loan, or
Yeah, you're
when they
seeing
were
like
talking to
the
the guy,
simplest things.
yeah, it's like,
Hmm.
look, you didn't exist for 5 years. You don't really have like I don't know what was it like credit or it was something of the
Yeah.
sort.
They
It's like
weren't
for the
maybe
past
they
five
weren't
years.
making payments on it or something.
Yeah, either not making payments or they weren't making any profit or I mean, I'm not sure what all the terms are, but yeah, it's just cool that they pay attention that much to detail. And it just shows that okay, these guys were gone for 5 years. They come back. They're not just resuming their life.
Hmm.
Right.
They've got to make
Everything's
up these past
different.
5 years,
Yeah.
right? And I mean,
D-
it seems like they got fucked. So
Speaking of, we have to talk about this because we're from New Orleans. We're from friggin' Louisiana.
Nola, baby.
And of course, and granted, love that they did, like, they let Anthony Mackie have his home, like, where he's from,
Yeah, because I
be a
looked
part
it
of his
up. In
story.
the comics, Falcon's from I think New York. So this is a
I mean, he's
total.
definitely not from New York in the fucking. I mean, he's definitely not from New Orleans in the comics.
But
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
thing. I think that's
Yeah.
really cool that they let it be in Louisiana. My other issue, though, is can there just not be one time where someone has a backstory in Louisiana and it doesn't involve some type of shrimping or in the bayou or in the marsh? Like,
It's
why can't
funny.
it just be normal?
Yeah.
It's funny. It reminded me of the scene in Wonder Woman 2 where she's in Egypt and it's all fucking sand and just rocks everywhere.
Right. It's like
I'm like,
we
okay,
very clearly like yes, people have shrimp boats and shrimp and
right.
maybe that is what his family like that's the storyline they wanted to go with.
Mm-hmm.
But they went with that because most people who make stories from Louisiana think that
Yeah.
that's
Has
all
to be. I mean, it
Louisiana
has to be.
is.
Yeah.
I find that so it's just so cliche every time and I love it because I'm glad that we get some type of like credit, you know? Like, oh,
Right.
look, it's our
Right.
home place. So that's cool. But it's just the same thing. Like, if it's not that, then it's they're walking through the city when Mardi Gras is going on.
Right.
Like every
Exactly.
week's Mardi
Yeah.
Gras. It's just, I find that shit so funny. But
Yeah.
it was still really like compelling. And his family and the way he was talking with them felt really real. And I
Mhm.
really liked that because yeah, it makes you feel a little more into the world of what's like the simple things that these heroes have to go through. Like they're heroes, they just saved the world, but when life is over and everything resumes, nobody can care about that anymore.
Yeah.
You have to like, continue your life. It's just a
Right.
interesting way to look at it. So I'm glad they're doing that in this at least because it feels more real. Like this is way more real, whereas WandaVision was so fantasy. So
Yeah.
you're getting best
Exactly.
of both worlds
Absolutely.
kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I
I,
yeah, I thought it was cool too. I mean, you know what I mean? There's a boat. I got a boat out back too. I can relate. The loan on that thing is insane. No, but I also wanted to say when when they went to the bank or whatever
I
and
was
they
very
just bring
confused
up
for a second.
yeah. Omar's like, "Matt's got a boat. You never told me you had a boat." Um Also the little side just like Tony Stark comment. I was like, "Jesus, we're just talking about him like
yeah,
he's
he just goes condolences, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you bitch.
My boy just snapped you back."
Condolences. He's the reason you're living, you know?
Yeah, what
Well,
was he
actually, he
asking?
might have not been snapped. I don't know. But
He was like, "Did Tony pay you guys? Y'all get any
yeah, he
money
was
from
like
him?"
Oh yeah. Yeah.
insinuating that they
Yeah.
got a shit ton of money.
I guess
Which,
to be fair to
to
the
be
banker,
fair,
he's just trying to fit. He wants to help them. He's like, "Do you make any money so we can save your boat?" But
right.
alas, no.
I do like all that aspect of it. I feel like though my only issue with this show or this episode was I liked all of that stuff, but when we got to Bucky's side, I
Oh, don't
enjoyed
even.
that more.
Oh, more. Okay, that's fine. I was about to say.
No. I'm saying I enjoyed it
Yeah.
more, so I found myself wanting to follow that story more. And that's the thing when you do these two side stories where they're not together, you got to have them both be super super compelling, I feel. I don't know.
Yeah, and so I get what you're saying, but I mean, I was probably more interested in Bucky's too because we didn't even really talk about it. But the setup for what's going on with him is fucking wild. Like him being
It
friends with this
is.
dude whose son we assume he killed in that
Well, no,
opening
he
scene with him.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We don't see it. Did you watch the end of Game of Thrones, dude? What they did to Stannis? Actually, no,
Never
he
seen
did
that
die.
show. Never
Yeah.
gonna.
But no, so I do find that a little bit more interesting. But I mean, I still think all the stuff going on with Falcon's really,
Yeah,
fascinating
and I'm
too.
probably saying it wrong because I do think it's really cool and compelling, and I like it. I guess then that's the problem with these shows. Well, not with these shows, but with the characters and what they've ignored, and now we're getting shows with them. It's the same thing that happened with Vision. Now we care about them because of these shows. So that's
Right.
what I'm expecting to happen. Because right now in this first episode, it wasn't as like fun and goofy as Wanda's first episode. So because of that, you're kind of getting through all of the explanations of what's going on, and then after that, I feel like that's when you get into
Well,
like the big
Yeah.
big stuff.
Okay, true, very true. And also, so I know we spent a lot of times in the docks of Louisiana. We can all relate, right? We've all been down there. We've all fished. But I think the true like that obviously is going to come into play some of it because he's got to help his sister out. We're assuming something great's going to happen with
Right.
that at the end. But I feel like the more thing that Falcon as a character is going to be going through in this show is the fact that he just gave Captain America's shield back to the government because he did not feel worthy to carry on the mantle that Cap wanted him to, and now the government has given it to this fucking random dude. Like to
Right.
me, that is actually like really fascinating.
No,
like,
and that's super. And I thought we were gonna save that, so that's why I wasn't bringing
my
it up
bad.
yet. But I feel like that is the most compelling side of his story.
Yes.
So that's why, since we only got a small amount of it in the beginning, I feel like we got a lot more family stuff than we did.
Mhm.
Not that I'm against
Yeah.
family, but
Bailey hates
I
family.
really want to I really want to follow that story because I think that is gonna make his character like so compelling and so interesting because I can't even imagine being him and having that happen. And it's sad even when you cuz if you think about yourself getting some giant amazing superhero gave you his shield and is like you are now me and you're really going to believe that you deserve it. I
It's
totally get what he would be going through.
it's almost as if like it would be equivalent to like if Matthew gave me his hoodie, I was to wear it,
I'd take it
and
off my
it's
back
like,
for
do
you.
I want to wear it? Like, imagine if I fuck it up, right? It's a white hoodie.
Exactly.
I don't want the responsibility, but also I don't feel worthy to wear his white hoodie. And I
I
think
feel like
Sam is
it's
struggling.
a
And so who?
perfect comparison.
And
I
so who?
honestly, no. It's no, in all honesty, it's that. But also, dude, he's like, okay, well, here's his friend that they've been friends for like over 70 years, right? It's like, what makes me more worthy to carry that shield again
Right.
than his best friend? And I think that's just a hard thing to deal with. And I think maybe he took the easier way out, which would be just, you know what? Here, you guys take the shield, throw it in the museum, let people appreciate him for who he was, and let's carry on this
And that's
show.
the
But
fucked up thing because he at least is like if I'm not going to be able to be the person who carries this mantle
right,
for the world, I'm at least going to make it to where it's a part of his legacy so everyone can go admire it. And then the government
exactly.
turns around and completely stabs him in the back. And that's
I actually like that take though.
it's
Me
super
too.
cool, but that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's like and then the knockoff Cap that walks out at the end and you're just like
So
So
that is
apparently he's a really popular character in the comics.
Yeah, he
I have
is.
no
yeah.
idea who the fuck he is.
He
But
so he was who
we'll
me and
see.
Matt were talking about
Yeah, what's
in
his name?
our
Like Stephen Knox?
other episode.
Philip Knox?
No,
Oh yeah.
I don't know what
No,
his
no,
actual
no.
it's Walker. Cuz we were
Stephen
saying
Yeah, something
Walker.
Waller,
Walker.
but it's
Yeah.
Walker. But
Figure it out.
he's like a big deal in the comics, but it's one of those things where at first glance the first person you see in the Cap uniform that's not Cap automatically looks like a cheap knockoff. So you're just like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm
He
supposed to be
did.
intimidated."
I was like, this
But
looks like a Halloween costume on some guy.
it did, but it was also just a super cool way to end the show because when
Yeah.
that happened, of course, I immediately was like, "Oh, I definitely want to see what happens with this now." Because,
Right.
like, how heartbreaking is that seeing Falcon just sitting there being like, "You got to be kidding me! I just did this, you bitches.
Right,
Why are you
exactly.
gonna do this to me? Now I gotta fight everybody to get the shield back." So,
Yeah.
I
You did you guys know that out of all the premieres, WandaVision and The Mandalorian and this had the highest audience.
Really?
Does that make sense? Yeah, it pulled in
Does that
the
make sense?
largest
John Walker
numbers.
was his name.
John Walker.
That's
John
crazy.
Walker.
John
Yes.
Walker walking down the
Um,
street.
I
Something,
wonder.
something,
That is,
something
yeah, that blows my mind. I bet that has a lot
with
to
his
do with
feet.
just the. I loved what you guys were just doing. Um, it must have a lot to do with coming off of WandaVision. How many people watched that and loved it?
Oh,
I
I'm
think just
sure.
just
Yeah.
Yeah,
going
yeah.
into this.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
I
I
I
mean,
think
and
that. Well,
no,
yeah,
go
you've
ahead.
got to keep in mind though, like if we're putting these four characters like in a fucking hat, and you can see
In a
the
hat.
names in the hat, right? If you only get to pull two, who's more interesting, or who do you like more? People would 100% always choose Falcon and Winter Soldier just coming from the MCU, dude. I don't think people really, for the most part, of like I didn't like when Vision was on the screen. I'll be honest with you. Like I just wanted him off.
And
Whereas
Back
Sam,
that's
in the
he's
what's
not.
day.
beautiful about these
I
shows.
agree. Whereas Sam, like, I didn't really care for him, but when he was on screen, he was cool, he was
Yeah,
funny,
he's
he was
always funny.
entertaining, right? Wanda, I mean, I guess maybe towards like the end of the MCU, I was like, okay, like, you know what? I fuck with her. Okay, all right.
She's
And
all
then the Winter
right.
Soldier, obviously, like, dude, he was just the coolest, funnest. Like, I just wanted to obviously explore his story, and I'm hoping that with this show, I don't think they're gonna have a future in the MCU. I don't think they have that large of
Really?
a future. I really don't.
You're
I think
crazy,
the next
man.
phase is gonna start kind of shifting more towards like the I guess newer characters in the MCU.
You don't think this is
Um,
building up Falcon to be the next Captain America type of character?
I mean, I think he'll make like appearances here and there.
I
Oh.
think you don't feel that yet because you don't see him being Captain America yet.
Maybe
And
that could be.
maybe that's what this show could do. Like maybe this is what
Maybe that's what it
all
could
these
do for you,
people out
Omar.
there that don't
I'm hoping
see
so.
him as Cap
Yeah.
could see him as Cap by the end of this.
Maybe.
So at least I'm hoping that's what they are gonna do
Right.
with it. I
Maybe.
mean, which we need to even transfer from Falcon and start talking more about Bucky and these
Buckaroo.
flashbacks that he's having.
Yeah.
Cause that flashback slash nightmare that he has was so cool. Cause you got to
Dude, yeah.
see him as Winter Soldier again, which I absolutely adored.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to see the like really brutal fighting style because I really like that too. I think it's just really cool to see play out when you have really good actors doing it. And then yeah, it's like this nightmare he has. He goes to therapy, talks about it, and like the therapy sessions with him and this therapist are hilarious. I think the acting in it is perfect. And you get to see what the repercussions of what he went through and what he did and being brainwashed and doing all these things. It's like he was brainwashed, but he definitely still remembers every person that he killed. So he has this giant it's a cool thing to think of that he has this giant list of people that he needs to make
Yeah.
amends with. And I guess somewhere along the lines, he made friends with this older man because he was gonna go and make amends with him for killing his son, but then got close with him. And that's
Right.
such a cool way to see what he's struggling with himself. Like he even says how he went 90 years of his life not being himself. It's like, how
Right.
do you go back from that? You have not lived. And now you just have to be like normal and pretend everything is okay. It's a very cool, interesting way to see his character because I feel like nobody even thinks about stuff like that. So I'm super looking forward to this.
Yeah, he's like,
I
I
agree. I
haven't
mean,
danced in 100 years.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I really like everything with his like his sessions. I thought those were some of the more what's the word I'm looking for? I guess
Funny,
captivating scenes for me.
captivating.
Yeah, well, not just funny. I honestly enjoyed watching those scenes. Even when she's going through like the three rules, she's like, "Did you follow the three
Yeah.
rules?" He's like, "Yeah." And then you see how he followed the fucking rules,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was his own version, I guess. It's just I love moments like that, right? Especially with his character, where yeah, like first time we see him is in Winter Soldier. It's this very dark take on him, and then obviously, like I mean, Infinity War, we got him towards the end, and he was fighting. We didn't really get much of him. We didn't get much of his story or anything.
Yeah,
And
you
then
knew
Endgame,
nothing
it's
about him really,
right.
other than
Endgame,
like
it's the
what you were
same
told in
thing.
Winter Soldier.
Right. So no, I definitely like that they're exploring this side of him and that they're taking um this route with his character. And I think by the time we get them together, which I'm assuming is gonna be at some point next episode, I
Yeah,
think
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna
gotta
be
it
be.
has
well
to be.
worth the wait. And I think it's gonna make up for like if for whatever reason you didn't like what they're doing with him in the first episode, or if you didn't like what what they're doing with Sam or whatever. I think once they're together, those two are just very like compelling. I mean, they're very like they work well with
Oh
each
They
yeah, their
they're
chemistry.
super good together.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be worth the wait.
Oh fuck yeah, fuck yeah! I can't wait.
I feel like God, wait, I was just thinking of something. Oh, this terrorist organization
The
that you
Flag
see that this
Smashers.
dude is like I found it really weird that he felt like he had to FaceTime Falcon about it.
Yeah.
It's
I was
like,
just
dude, look at my
just
beat
I
up
mean,
head.
I might just call him. I don't really understand or send him a text.
He got
Right.
fucked by that dude. I'm
He
not
got
gonna lie.
fucked.
He
Like
got body slammed
he
on
got
pavement.
he got like ground stomped or but I probably just said that
Yeah.
wrong. But
Looks like it fucking did.
but it was rough, but I feel like are these you said the name earlier, Matt. What
The
they're
Flag
called.
Smashers?
Flag Smashers. First of all, I feel like that's a really lame name. Second of
Yeah,
all,
they make a joke about it, thankfully.
Second of all, I thought they were just normal people that were just terrorists, but they looked so strong when he was fighting this guy. He was like straight up just throwing his body, and I'm like, that's not like something normal humans can do. So
I thought that scene played out really cool too. How it's like they're just putting on the mask, and he's like, "All right, so what are we doing?" And then the guy just fucking jumps out with the bags. It's got the mask
Yeah.
on and starts walking. It's like, all right, obviously now we're the distraction. I was like, I love stuff
it
like
is
that.
super cool. It's very Mr. Robot esque
Oh yeah,
with this like
You watch
organization,
that
but
shit.
I'm very
You do, Omar.
Jesus. I'm very interested to see how all of this is going to play out, obviously, because it's building into this universe that we love so much. But so far, I think it's a good one. I think it was a good one, guys.
what is
I
the
agree.
over under that the rest of the show is just about Sam trying to catch fish and save his boat?
Catch fish and save his boat.
You know what? After
I mean,
WandaVision, I think anything's
I have no
possible.
idea. If he can afford to keep the boat, then I think it's really high chances. If he can't afford to keep the boat, I think that story line ends there,
Yeah.
and we move on to the
How are you
next
gonna
thing.
fish without a
We'll
boat?
see though.
How are you
Right,
gonna fish
Only-
without a boat?
Only Jesus knows.
I don't know. I feel like we're definitely just gonna get a lot more character building with them too, but not a lot of universe building. And we
Right,
also haven't
exactly.
even seen Zemo yet, so because we
His
all know
name-
he's gonna be in it.
His name was in
His
Bucky's
book?
notebook. Yeah, so that was cool.
That is
Oh,
cool.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wasn't there another villain that was like rumored to be in his book too?
I don't know.
Or am I just making that up? Maybe I'm just making that up. Maybe I
Sounds
just
like-
dreamt it.
sounds
I
like
had
something
a
you made up.
flashback nightmare dream.
Comment.
With Bucky.
Comment, guys. Let us know.
Yeah,
we
you
missed
know
all
what?
kinds
Let
of
us
stuff.
know if we missed anything because I'm sure we did. But so far, at least, I'm enjoying this one episode of the show. So I think we can only go up. You know, I mean, actually, you can definitely go down. But I'm
You know
gonna
what?
say we can only go up.
I just thought of a brand new fucking super idea, and I should have run it by you guys first, but I'm doing it because whatever.
do it.
These are the best ones we ever have, right? If we missed anything crucial in this episode or Easter eggs, anything wild, comment. If it's something that's real, we'll read it out at the beginning of the next episode. And we'll do that all through these. So
I like it.
We'll read
There
it
you go.
out and we'll shout you out for being smart enough
For
to catch
saving
these
our
things
ass.
that we never do catch because
Yeah.
we're
If-
simple.
if we
just
missed
like
it-
stuff to like stuff.
if Falcon really did save all these people, he didn't kill anybody. If he was pushing buttons, deploying their parachutes, getting them all at the helicopters, we missed it. Let us know. Tell us we're wrong.
Tell us we're right or wrong because I like to throw in right just in case. I'm like, you know what? People can tell us we're doing okay. But yeah, so I think I'm excited. I don't know why I'm saying I think. I am excited for the next episode, and I can't wait to see more with this fake cap because get that shit out of here is what I say.
Yeah, get that shit out of here.
Get that shit out of here. But yeah, so I'm gonna just wrap this. I'm gonna wrap this.
Perfect.
Wrap
Pretty
it.
nice little neat bow.
I just
So
real quick.
don't for-
I
oh,
just real
go
quick want to say, Omar, if you ever I would trust you with my hoodie. Basically, if I aged suddenly, drastically, and couldn't do it anymore, couldn't wear this hoodie. I don't know. If I just couldn't for some reason, and I passed it to you, I feel like you would wear it. You wouldn't give it to
If
the
I
government.
fit it, if I can fit it, I would wear it.
Damn.
That's what I'm
100%,
talking
bro.
about.
I would take that mantle.
That's a
This
friend
is
right
just
there.
like the scene on the bench with old Cap and little Falcon.
I don't think
Dude, that scene, I think that's the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard. I don't think I will. Like this guy's your fucking friend, bro. Just trust him. Let him know. Like I see memes of that. And I'm like, dude, that was just fucking rude. Man.
I like to think the camera pans back to Sam after that, and he's just like, "Okay, I'm gonna just give your shield away then. Fuck you."
Fuck you. And on that note, this has been Press Play again. We're going to be doing this again next Tuesday and hopefully have way more to talk about with what's coming in these shows because I want to know more. We need to know more. So next Tuesday we got that, and don't forget we got part 2 of Snidey Cut discussion on
Snidey.
Thursday. So be there or be square and just like this and subscribe to us and do all the things that I tell you to do because I have good reasons for them. I guess Omar's just already hopping on. He's
dude's
like already hopping
This dude's
on.
already on his PlayStation.
But until then, you know, can't fish without a boat.